guys, gas furnaces are becoming a thing of the past. Very, very soon, you may not be able to even purchase them for your home. And now we have one state taking the first step to making that happen. So during the making of this video might be a little delayed coming out, so I'll try to get it out as quickly as possible so it's as accurate as possible. But as of 4 days ago, the California Air Resources Board unanimously voted to approve a proposal that would eliminate the sale of gas-powered furnaces and water heating appliances by the year 2030. And so before I go any further, I just want to preface this video and say this is not a political video. I don't really care what your views are politically. You're certainly welcome to comment them, but I'm not going to change my mind one way or the other, just like I'm not going to change yours. So that's not what this video is. What this is if you are in the market for replacing your heating and air system anytime soon, I want you to be aware of the facts. So last week, the California Air Resources Board approved a 2022 state strategy for the state implementation plan. This strategy document is a roadmap for California regulators to reduce ground level ozone, also known as smog. One component that was recently added to the strategy is a plan to create a zero emission standard for space and water heaters. This zero emission standard would ban the sale of gas furnaces and water heaters with a proposed effective date of 2030. It's just a crazy time that we're living in with all these new efficiency standards coming out. I've made more videos on this sort of stuff in the past couple months than I ever have, with all the new refrigerants coming out soon, the new standards starting next year with minimums for your electrical requirements, the standards that they're going to say ACs and heat pumps can be sold at. And then now this is coming out of California. Just last month, the state of California passed a rule banning the sale of new gas-powered cars by the year of 2035 in their quest to combat climate change. Now the state has set its sights on the HVAC industry, and more specifically furnaces and water heaters. What is interesting, and again, I'm not getting into politics. I think both sides suck in most ways, but I do want to say that it's interesting that the Democratic Party, that just a decade ago, they were pushing natural gas big time. And so it's just interesting that now you see states like California completely eliminating them. I think we all know why things like that change. Money. So this article says California can pipe natural gas directly to residential high efficiency, low NOx furnaces, which is converting more than 97% to heat. Instead, the state is choosing to generate peaking power using combustion turbines that convert 20 to 30% of the natural gas to electricity, which is then wheeled down to transmission lines across step-down transformers, with transmission line losses the whole way until it powers strip heat. Service Nation President Matt Michaels said, "How exactly is that better for the environment, the consumer, or the grid?" The HVAC Contractor Association, ACA, also does not agree with the action. ACA's position is that contractors and consumers should have access to whatever source of fuel makes the most sense for their business and economic needs, said Bart James, the president and CEO of ACA. This makes California the first state in the U.S. to implement such a measure. The goal is for this action to help ease the climate crisis by cutting planet heating emissions. The commitment is part of a more broader strategy of the state plan to meet federal 70 parts per billion or 8-hour ozone standard for the next 15 years. We need to take every action we can to deliver on our commitments to protect public health from the adverse impacts of air pollution, and this strategy identifies how we can do that, CARB Chair Leanne Randolph said. I think it's Leanne. What's interesting too is this was a unanimous vote. There was no this many votes for and this many votes against. It was a unanimous vote to pass this. While this strategy will clean the air for all Californians, it will also lead to reduced emissions in the many low-income and disadvantaged communities that experience greater levels of persistent air pollution. But to truly meet the ozone standard, California needs more federal action to clean up harmful diesel pollution from primarily federally controlled sources, from locomotives and ocean-going vessels to aircraft, which are all concentrated in communities that continue to bear the brunt of poor air quality. We simply cannot provide clean air to Californians without the federal government doing its part. So she is taking aim there at the federal government. The decision does not make any sense, says Michael. He says, quote, "So let me get this straight. The state has to plead with Tesla owners to not charge their vehicles between 4 p.m. and 8 p.m. so it can keep the lights on, wants to put more stress on their failing electrical grid by banning gas furnaces and gas water heaters. Brilliant." Sarcastic. Michael said, California is a state that is proud to be pro-choice when it comes to abortion and pro-choice when it comes to gender, but it is all mandate when it comes to powering your car, heating your home, or heating your water. It wouldn't be so bad if they were also pro-generation or at least pro-nuclear, which happens to be the only form of reliable baseload power that emits less carbon than a pontificating politician. It's just crazy. It sounds political because I'm giving you both sides to the story. It really doesn't matter what side you are on or whether you do or don't agree with it. The bottom line is, as the consumer, you're not going to have this option anymore. If they're banning this option, you're going to have to look for alternative measures to heat and cool your home. I think over the next decade, you're going to see as these new things kick into place. Now, this may balance out in the future, far future, but in the near future, this is my prediction for the market. I think you're going to see a divide in who can afford what. And so these systems that are meeting these requirements, so meeting with new refrigerants, new electrical requirements, minimum standards, the price increases that are coming with that, and now they are regulating what types of systems you can buy. You're going to get to a point where you're only going to see people that can afford it. Wealthy people have traditional conventional air systems, and then you're going to see, you're already seeing where there's other options like mini splits and ductless units that will be more of a cost-efficient option. I think you're going to see that over the next decade. You're going to see where certain markets, certain parts of the country, that you're going to see them selling more ductless mini splits than they used to. And then you're going to see other parts of the country where these places where there's more wealthier folks, they'll have these other options. So I don't think that is going to be state specific. I think that's going to be across the board. You're going to see that because all of these changes are affecting pricing and so on. And I also made a bold prediction in a recent video where I said you're going to see companies that either out of the norm companies or companies that during the making of this video know who they are, and they're going to come out of the woodworks and change the industry because they're going to not be the norm, that they're going to come up with a better technology or a different way of heating and cooling your home. And I genuinely think you're going to see things like that, where you see all these big companies like Train, Carrier, Daikin, all these guys all raising their prices, and you're going to see somebody else come in and say, y'all keep having lunch and raising your prices. We're going to come over here and take over the industry. I think you're gonna see some craziness. It'll be interesting. We're going to try to stay on top of all that with this YouTube channel. So anyway, appreciate your watching. Comment down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Do you live in California, or do you live in a state that's probably going to follow suit? I think there are parts of the country that this is going to be tough for them to do, because even if they're trying to eliminate burning fossil fuels, electric is in some cases not necessarily a good economical option, right? I mean, you could certainly put an electrical furnace or air handler with heat strips in that home, but with the heat strips always running, that's going to be raising that electric bill. And so it'll be interesting to see all that shake out as well. So comment down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Thanks for watching. Hit that subscribe button. We'll see you next time.